Welcome to Main Street Matters by Heart on Main Street, the podcast that knows that products provide some value, but you are the special sauce that makes your store a success. I am your host, Patrick Keiser. Earlier this week, we kicked off our new series inspired by Thomas Nagle's The Strategy and Tactics of Pricing, a masterclass in how pricing decisions shape profitability. In episode 1, The Hidden Power of Pricing, we learned that even small changes in price, even as small as 1%, can have a huge impact on your bottom line. Today, we're going to be diving into the foundation of modern pricing strategy, value-based pricing. Because here's the hard truth, most independent retailers still rely on cost-plus pricing. They take the cost of an item, they mark it up by a fixed percentage, usually 100% or 2x or Keystone, and call it a day. It feels safe, it's simple, and it's fair. But it leaves money on the table. And if you listen to that first episode in this series, you will recall that I called Keystone Tombstone. If that's what you base your pricing on, your store might soon be dead. Value pricing flips that script. Instead of starting with your cost, it starts with your customer and what the customer actually values. As Nagle explains, the right price is one that reflects the value delivered to the customer, not simply the seller's cost. So in this episode, we'll explore what value-based pricing really means, why cost plus often fails, how to uncover what customers truly value, and practical steps for putting value-based pricing into practice within your store. So get ready to factor your value into the price line. It's Boo Club time. Let's start with the familiar, cost plus pricing, sometimes called Keystone pricing in retail. It's simple. If you take the cost of an item that you bought it at wholesale price, let's say it's $20. You add your markup, let's say it's 100% markup 2 times, you sell it for $40. It feels logical, you cover your costs, you make a margin large enough to pay bills, rent, and your employees, and you move on. This is why I will refer to this as cost plus pricing. Your cost plus a fixed margin. But here's the problem. Your costs don't determine what a customer is willing to pay for that. Customers don't know or honestly really care what your wholesale price is. They care about what the product means to them. And honestly, in today's era of rapid inflation, people's internal compass for what something should cost has gotten way out of whack. Everyone knows that they're paying more for things now, but they're still calibrating what more is and how much is too much nowadays. Nagle notes costs influence prices only to the extent that they influence supply. Value determines demand, and demand sets the upper limit on price. So here's why cost plus strategy can lead you astray. For one, it ignores customer perception. 2 customers can see the same product and feel completely different about it. One might see a $25 candle as overpriced. Another might see it as an affordable luxury. 2, it locks in low profits. If the vendor raises prices, you are then in turn going to pass that increase on straight to your customers, even if their perceived value has not changed. So pretty soon you got yourself into a pricing pickle. 3, it invites bad comparisons. When you price by formula, you're easy to compare to anyone else selling the same item, and that pushes you into competing on price alone. And 4, it hides opportunity. Some items create far more value than others. Cost plus treats them all the same. You miss out on opportunities to charge premium prices where customers would gladly pay more. An example of this, a boutique might sell scarves that cost $10 wholesale to its owner. The boutique adds up 100% and charges $20. The boutique owner thinks, well, I'm priced right. But then the boutique offers styling advice and quality fabrics and a pleasant atmosphere and a personal touch. And the perceived value from the customer might easily justify $25, yet cost plus pricing caps it at $20. And now suddenly you can't increase the price on the product that you already have within your store, so you're stuck losing out on potential dollars because of that initial cost plus pricing. And that's the cost of cost plus. So what does value-based pricing look like? At its core, value-based pricing means setting prices according to the values customers receive, not the costs that you incur. It's not about guessing, it's about understanding. Nagle defines it this way: value-based pricing is the process of understanding and quantifying the economic and psychological value your product delivers to the customers and setting price accordingly. In more plain English, you figure out what your customer is really buying, the benefit, the feeling, the problem solved, and you price for that. So let's look at a few examples. A specialty toy store sells a puzzle for $40 that a big box store sells for $25. But the store owner helps grandparents choose age-appropriate gifts, wraps them beautifully, and guarantees a return. Plus, that's 4 stamps on your frequent shopper card, 6 more, and you get $10 off your next purchase. Parents and grandparents aren't buying just a puzzle. They're buying confidence, convenience, and joy. A small-town hardware store charges slightly more for paint, but offers color matching, advice, and same-day delivery to your home. Customers aren't paying for paint. They're paying for a smooth project and a peace of mind. A boutique bakery charges $6 for cupcakes when a grocery store sells them for $3. But customers are buying indulgence, celebration, and handmade craftsmanship, not just calories. Value-based pricing recognizes those intangibles. It's not about gouging, it's about aligning price with perceived benefit. This approach honestly requires curiosity. You need to figure out, what problems do my customers actually want solved? What experiences do they cherish? And what do they compare me to, and why? When you understand that, pricing becomes less about covering cost and more about capturing value. If you listen to our last book club series on duct tape marketing, think about your talking logo. What sets you apart from others? What makes you different? Why come to your store when they can go to others that are similar? So how do you know what your customers truly value? You can't, unfortunately, read their minds, but you can listen, observe, and test. Here are 4 tools to uncover perceived value. First, ask better questions. Train your team to listen for clues instead of, "Can I help you find anything?" which will always likely be a no, or "I'm just looking, thanks." Instead, ask, "Who are you shopping for today? What's the occasion? What made you choose to come in today?" These questions reveal emotional drivers. If customers say, "I want something meaningful," or "I'm tired of cheap stuff that breaks," they're telling you they value quality or sentiment, not just a low price. Part 2 of this is to observe purchase behavior. Notice what sells even at higher prices. Which items rarely get discounted yet move fairly steadily? Which one do customers rave about online? That's value talking. I once talked to a boutique owner who said that her $120 denim jeans sold faster than the $95 pairs. Why? The fit and feel justified that extra price. Customer perceived more value in that, even though the cost differential was minimal. $25 more wasn't an incredible amount, but it was the value of that product that they had in their store that they wanted to pay that extra as opposed to the $95 jeans. Part 3, compare alternatives through the customer's eyes. When customers compare price, they're comparing you to something else, but not always what you expect. A gift shop isn't competing only with other shops, it's competing with maybe a nice dinner or flowers or maybe even concert tickets, anything that meets that same emotional need. Understanding that comparison helps you frame your value. In part 4 of this test and learn, value is discovered through experiments. Try small price adjustments, offer premium versions, bundle complementary products. I was once in a toy store and met an owner who had created a birthday gift wrap and card bundle for $10. He had pre-matched cards with wrapping paper based on common themes. Customers could switch out the cards if they wanted something different, but otherwise it was a grab-and-go set. Individually, the items cost $7.50, but he added an extra margin on them and found no pushback. Customers loved the convenience. They paid extra to not think about which card went with which wrapping paper or to find the perfect card. Sales grew and profit margins improved. It was proof that perceived value justified the extra cost. Nagle advises price testing is learning. Every response to price communicates information about value. Let's now put value-based pricing into practice. Let's turn that insight into action. Here's step-by-step how to begin pricing for value in your retail store. Step 1, identify value drivers. List what makes your store valuable beyond the product itself. Service, selection, expertise, convenience, ambiance, locality, or social impact, whatever it is in your store that adds value beyond the products that you sell. Ask yourself, why do customers choose us instead of someone cheaper, someone more close to their home? What extra do you add? Step 2, quantify that value. Estimate the economic or emotional benefit that you provide. Does your product last longer? Does it save time? Do you reduce stress? Do you create joy and pride? Even substantive benefits matter. They're going to drive the willingness to pay more for something. Step 3, segment your customers. Not everyone values the same things. Create simple segments. Value seekers, they want quality of something. Convenience seekers want something that's easy for them. Experience seekers want that connection to you and your store. Can you price differently for each segment, premium, standard, and value tiers? Step 4, communicate value clearly. Price without communication looks arbitrary, so this is a really, really important step. You have to tell the story. Why is this a little pricier than others within the same category? Use signage or tags, hand-poured, locally made in small batches, something that lets them know why this is an extra or a premium value. You need to train your staff. Saying something like, this brand donates 5% to local schools or donates food to children's homes across the world explains why it might be a little bit more expensive but worth the value. Online, free lifetime refills on ink pens. Something like that can catch people's eyes and make them see why you'd want to pay a little bit more. When value is clear, price becomes secondary. Step 5, test and refine. Don't overhaul everything at once. Start with one category or one premium product, track sales, feedback, margins, and then adjust from there. It's a constant, ever-going process. It's not a set it and forget it. The cost plus is set it and forget it. You take your cost, you add the margin, done. This you need to understand and need to make adjustments along the way. Value-based pricing is a living system, not a one-time event. When I can, I always like to include experiences that I've had, stores that I've seen, where I can take this information from theoretical to showing how it actually works in practice. And 2 examples really stood out from my Main Street Monday events, where I went out and visited over 50 different towns and met with hundreds and hundreds of retailers to see and experience their stores. The first one that really popped in my head was in Pentwater, Michigan. A toy and kids store marked up their prices to make a pretty healthy margin. But they also offer in-store book readings, a puppet theater, and imagination rooms. The value of the store wasn't just in the products that it sold. The products were products. They could get the products in lots of different places. It was a kind of tourist area, so you didn't have a ton of different options, but for the most part, the products were the products. It was the value that they were providing. It was giving kids a place to play and be entertained. That was the value that they were able to add into their margins. And then another store, I visited a chocolatier in Geneva, Illinois. They sold large brand chocolates and treats, as well as their own in-house specialty made chocolates and candies. Despite the similarity of both products, you could get chocolate dipped pretzels and you can get your chocolate bars. There was similarity within the products. The made in-house candies were about 30 to 40% more. The owner said the big brand chocolates were really just there to fill in the gaps. Nearly all of their sales are from the made in-house candies and chocolates. People wanted to see it made in front of them. And actually, it was a really cool setup. There was this house, and kind of in a front window, you could watch the chocolate being made from the street and come in and see it being made. It got you excited about the product. People could even reserve it while it was still being made and then come pick it up later. So you could watch your chocolate and say, I want that. And then they'll be like, okay, when it's done, we'll let you know and you can come pick it up. People paid more for the knowledge that it was made right there in their store. These stores didn't change their costs. They changed the perspective and captured the value that they were creating. So how do we apply this week? Here are 3 actions that we can take right away. Pick one product to reevaluate. Choose one bestseller or one unique item and ask, what is the real value here? Why do customers buy this? If the perceived value exceeds your price, test a small increase. Step number 2, add value messaging. Rewrite one product tag or a social media caption to highlight the value, not the price. Replace $25 candle with hand-poured soy candle, 40 hours of clean burn and local craftsmanship. Something like that really talks about the value of that product. And then talk to 3 customers. Ask why they shop with you. Their answers reveal the value drivers that you can price around. Why are people coming into your store? Why do they come back to your store? What is the actual value that you provide to them? Small experiments build confidence, and confidence can build profit. So that is it for episode 2 of the strategy and tactics of pricing. Today we learned why cost plus pricing misses the mark, how value-based pricing helps you capture the true worth of what you offer. Here's the big takeaway for today. Your price should tell the story of your value. When you price only on cost, you tell the story of expenses. When you price based on value, you tell the story of experience, trust, and meaning. As Nagle reminds us, customers don't buy products. They buy the satisfaction those products deliver. Next week, in episode 3, we will dive deeper into customer segmentation, how to recognize who values you the most, and how to align prices with their needs. If today's episode sparked any ideas, share it with another retailer. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a quick review. It helps other Main Street businesses and independent retailers discover the show. Until next time, stay safe, shop local, and keep your heart on Main Street. This episode was written, produced, researched, and edited by me, Patrick Keiser, with a very special thanks to Thomas Nagle and his book, The Strategies and Tactics of Pricing, in stores now. For more information about Heart on Main Street, you can visit www.heartonmainstreet.org, and you can email us at contact@heartonmainstreet.org. Thanks. Bye.